Hello everyone, how are you all? I am your shield. Today again we are back with Whiteout Survival. In today's video, I will show you some heroes about the bear hunt. What hero you can use in bear hunt to call the rally. I will talk about every generation from starting to ending. So let's get started. I will mainly talk on free to play because if you are pay to win, I have one simple guide for you. You can use either Natalia or Geronimo as the infantry, Mia as the lancer, but free to play always have some problems, so I'm discussing mainly on free to play. We are starting our guide with the generation 1. In generation 1, our formation, when we are calling rally, our hero formation as free to play, that can be Sergey, Molly, Bahiti. It is a very bad combination because Sergey do almost no damage in the rally. But if you are free to play, you can do this thing. Now I have one more solution for you. If you are free to play, but if you are in some good alliance where there are a lot of strong players, then in generation 1 don't call any rally. You should join other players rally. Do you understand what I'm telling? You have to join only other players rally. And when you are joining, that is very simple. In the first hero, you can use either Jesse, Jasar or Seoul. You already know those things. I'm not talking there. But if you are in such an alliance where most of the players are free to play, you are also free to play, then definitely call your rally. And when you are calling your rally, you can use Sergey as the infantry, Molly as the lancer, and Bahiti as the marksman. Why I am talking about Bahiti? Because Bahiti have one skill that can make some damage. But if you are in generation 1, there is no other good hero that can do some damage. You have Zinman, but Zinman is not that much good, so leave the Zinman. You are calling rally with Sergey, Molly and Bahiti. Now we are going to generation 2. In generation 2, we are getting a very good hero for rally, that is the Flint. If you check the skills of the Flint, every skill of the Flint that have some type of attack or damage. That's why Flint is very good when you are calling the rally. Normally Flint have the widget for the defense, but in bear hunt rally you can use the Flint. If you are pay to win, you are definitely using Natalia or Geronimo, but I'm talking mainly on free to play. Now the lancer in generation 2, that is not very good for calling the rally. You can still use Molly when you are in generation 2. And for the marksman, it is your choice. Look, there is one very good marksman for the rally, that is called Alonso. But if you get the Alonso in generation 2, then you cannot get the Greg in the generation 3. It is very much difficult to maintain both Greg and the Alonso. If you are focusing only on the bear hunt, then you can go for Alonso. If you, as general free to play, you want to focus in the game, then you can go for Greg. Because Greg is very good for both expedition and exploration. Okay. So what we are doing in generation 2, we are mainly using Flint, then again we are using Molly as the lancer, and as the marksman, we can either use Bahiti, or you are focusing on the bear hunt, then you can go for Alonso. Alonso have some widgets for the rally. Now we are going to generation 3. Generation 3, we have one infantry that is extremely bad, that is called Logan. We cannot use the Logan for calling any rally. Flint is still good. Flint have some skill for attack and damage, so you can use the Flint again in generation 3. But we have a very good hero in generation 3. We can use it for a long time, that is called Mia. You have to upgrade the hero as fast as possible. You will get the Mia from the lucky wheel. Try to make her at least 4 star, minimum 4 star, and get her widget at least level 4. Level 2, level 4, any widgets you can get on the Mia if you are free to play. And for the marksman, I told you, you can either go for Bahiti. If you already got the Alonso in generation 2, then you can again use the Alonso in generation 3. But if you are using your shards for the first time, then you can use it on the Greg. Greg is not very good for the bear hunt, but Greg is overall good. If you talk both arena and the other battle, Greg will be actually good. Okay? So we are using Flint, then Mia, and we cannot use Greg. We can, okay, if you have Greg, then you can use the Greg, or we can use Alonso or Bahiti. Now we are in generation 4. Generation 4, the infantry is not very good. It is Ahmos. Ahmos is some defensive type infantry. Ahmos have some hybrid skill, but they are not very good for the bear hunt. We can again use Flint if we are in Generation 4. Flint will do very high damage in the bear hunt. Now as the Lancer, we can use Reina, but I think if you are free to play, you cannot manage the shards to get the Reina. If you can manage the shards, then you can upgrade the Reina, but I say if you already have Mia from Generation 3, that will be enough. You don't need any other Lancer. Mia can still handle for a long time, like Generation 3 to Generation 10, more than that. So don't go for Reina. I mean, it is your choice. Mia will be still better. If you compare Mia versus Reina, Mia will be better. And as the marksman, I say go for the Lin. Lin is not that much good, but the stats of the Lin, that is very good. Okay. Now, if you already have 4-star Alonso, then you cannot use the Lin in the bear hunt. 4-star Alonso, that will be still better than 4-star Lin for the bear hunt. But if you don't have Alonso, or if you had the Greg, or if you miss the Greg, then Lin is the best hero for you. You are getting the Lin from the lucky wheel, and you can use the Lin for the bear hunt. So what we are using in Generation 4? We are still using Flint in Generation 4. Then we are again using Mia in the Generation 4. And as the marksman, we can finally go on the Lin. Now we are coming to Generation 5. Here is a big confusion. In Generation 5, we are getting one hero, that is Hector. Hector is good for the bear hunt. But I have made several videos on Flint versus Hector. I saw every time Flint is making more damage than Hector. So it is a very confusing part. You test yourself. Okay, I will not force anyone. You will test yourself. Try with Flint, try with Hector, then check who is making high damage. Other hero in Generation 5. If you are free to play, you can go for Nora, but Nora is not that much good for the bear hunt. We are getting Nora for other use. Mainly free to play can use Nora for joining rally and garrison, but this video is for the bear hunt. So we avoid the Nora. We are still using Mia in the Generation 5 for bear hunt. And Gwen can be very good. Gwen is very good hero for the bear hunt. But I believe you are free to play. You cannot get everything, so you can skip the Gwen. You can still use Lin when you are in Generation 5. So what we are using in Generation 5? Either Flint or Hector. I say test yourself, then tell me what is good for you. Then as the Lancer, we are again going for Mia. For the marksman, Gwen is very good. But I know you cannot get everything. That's why I say go for the Lin when you are calling rally on the bear hunt. Now we are going to Generation 6. We have a good hero, that is Ooming. Ooming is very good when you are calling rally in player versus player. But Ooming rally is not very good for the bear hunt. You can use either Flint or Hector. I will not repeat this thing anymore. Test yourself. Flint versus Hector, then tell me what is good for you. I myself use Flint. Okay. I myself use the Flint. This Lancer is very strong, but she is not very good for the bear hunt. Again, I say go for the Mia when you are in Generation 6. Mia can be good choice even in the Generation 6. And the marksman, I say go for Owen. Owen is very much powerful. You have to get the Owen. Owen can be good for bear hunt, then every other thing. Bear hunt, then other PvP rally. Owen will be very good, so go for the Owen. So what we are using in Generation 6? We are using Flint, then Mia, then Owen. But if you already got Gwen in the Generation 5, if you got her like 4-star, I know every free to play cannot do that, but if you are still free to play and get the Gwen, in that case you can skip the Owen. In that case you can still use the Gwen in Generation 6 to call the rally on the bear hunt. Now we are going to Generation 7. Generation 7, this edit is not very good. You can still use Flint to call the rally in the bear hunt. And as the Lancer, this Gordon is good, but it is very difficult to get. But if you compare bear damage between Max Gordon and Max Mia, Mia will be still the winner. So again, you are using Mia for bear hunt rally. And for the marksman, you can get the Bradley. Bradley will be very good. Now here is one very confusion. Bradley is not very much good in the PvP. If you compare Max Owen versus Max Bradley, Owen will be better in the PvP. But if you compare Max Bradley versus Max Owen, in that case, Bradley will be very good in the bear hunt. Okay, so it is actually very confusing, but if you are free to play, you are getting Bradley from the lucky wheel, so there is no problem. Get the Bradley, use him in the bear hunt. If you also want, you can use him in the PvP. Bradley will be a very good choice for the bear hunt. So what we are using in Generation 7? Infantry Flint, Lancer Mia, and Marksman, that is Bradley. Now we are going to Generation 8. Generation 8 Gato is very good hero, but we cannot use that in the bear hunt because all the skills are defensive skill. We need at least one skill for the attack. Gatos have no skill for the attack. We have Sonya, that is a very good hero, but again, if you compare as free to play, Mia will be better. Okay, then don't go for Sonya, go for Mia. And the Marksman is not very good for the bear hunt, the Hendrik. This hero is very good for the arena, but not very good for the bear hunt. We cannot use that. We are still using Bradley as the Marksman in Generation 8. So what we are using in Generation 8? Flint as the Infantry, Mia as the Lancer, and again Bradley as the Marksman. Now we are going to Generation 9. Generation 9, this hero is good, Magnus. You can actually use the Magnus. His skills are very good for the bear hunt. But again, if you are free to play, it is difficult to get the Magnus. I say again go for the Flint as the Infantry, Mia as the Lancer, and for the Marksman, again I say go for Bradley. Okay, this hero is coming in Generation 9 as free to play, the lucky wheel hero Fred, but again you can go for Mia. So we are continuing Flint, Mia, Bradley for a long time, like Generation 7, Generation 8, Generation 9. Every time we are using Flint, Mia, Bradley. Now we are going to Generation 10. In Generation 10, we have a little change. In Generation 10, the Infantry is not very much good, the Gregory. Even the Lancer is not very much good. I mean, Lancer is very good for the PvP, but not very good for the bear hunt. Okay. And as the Marksman, you can go with Blanchett. Finally, you can switch your Bradley with the Blanchett. Blanchett will be a very good hero because most of the skill of Blanchett, they are very powerful lethality or attack type skill that can make high damage in the bear hunt. So this hero was also very good, Zura, but we could not use it because if we are free to play, we cannot get the shards, we cannot manage the shards. We will use our shards mainly on the Freya for PvP. Okay. Plus, we can use some of our shards in the Hendrik for arena, but we cannot manage our shards for everything. That's why we are going only with the Blanchett right now. So what we are doing in Generation 10, we are using Flint as the Infantry, Mia as the Lancer, and Blanchett as the Marksman. Now we are coming to Generation 11. In Generation 11, I am still doing my work on this, but I have checked the Eleonora. This hero is not very much good. I mean, the skills are not that much good for the bear hunt. We can still use Flint. We can still use Flint in Generation 11. Okay. And I'm not sure about this Marksman. I have to make another perfect video for this Marksman. But I believe if you are free to play, you can still continue Blanchett in Generation 11 for the Marksman. So it is what I say, it is not final. I'm talking about Generation 11. Infantry, we are using Flint. Lancer, we are using Mia. Marksman, again, we are using Blanchett. This Lancer is actually good, but for PvP, not for the bear hunt. The skills, that is not very much good for the bear hunt. There is one skill, damage up, but that is mainly for the Lancer. Also another skill, these are not very much good. Okay, these are some chance based skill, not proper skill. Plus, if you check the widgets here is the widget, let me show you. Increasing defender troops attack 15%. That is not any good for the bear hunt. Other hand, you are seeing Mia has some proper widgets for the bear hunt. So this is how we are using our main 3 hero to call the rally in every generation for bear hunt. What about joiner? For the joiner, I say your first 3 joiner, I mean first 3 march. There should be Jesse as the first hero, Jasser as the first hero, Sion as the first hero. You can fill the other 2 places with any other hero of your choice. Okay. but don't mix your team. Like when you are setting your formation, you don't put one same hero in two different formation. That will be bad. But Jesse Jasser Sion, they are constant. For other merch, you can use Philly. Not very good choice, but you can still use that. Attack of 15% you can use there. Or if you want, you can use Owen. Somehow not very good, but still you can use for the bear hunt joiner. You can also use Gwen, but there is a problem. If you already have the Gwen, you should use Gwen to call the rally, not to join the rally. Same I can tell you, Geronimo can be also good for joining the rally. But if you already have Geronimo, then use him to call the rally, not for joining the rally. Same I can tell you, the Bradley skill, that is also very good for joining the rally. But if you already have Bradley, then use the Bradley for calling the rally, not for joining the rally. But when you get generation 10, then you are using Blanchett to call the rally. From that moment, you can use Bradley to join the rally. Okay, you can also use Nora to join the rally. They are not very much good. Their skills are average. Mainly, you can use Jesse, Jasser, Sion, then Geronimo, Bradley, like these heroes who have some solid attack up or lethality up type skill. Okay, and what about formation? For the formation, the troops formation, I cannot tell you anything properly because you have to find your formation by yourself. I can tell you only one thing. Put less number of infantry, less number of lancer, and high number of marksmen. It can be anything. You have to find your formation yourself. No one can tell you what is the best formation for bear hunt because it varies person to person. And one more thing I can tell you, if you want to make high damage in the bear hunt, focus mainly on the lethality for the marksman, that is the chief charm. Focus on the marksman. Also, when you are upgrading your hero gear, you can focus infantry defense gear for your own safety, and for the marksman you can focus on the marksman lethality type gear. That will give you some damage. And one more thing, when you are joining the rally, try to join any top player's rally who is very strong. If you join his rally, your damage will be also very good. In today's video, I told you what heroes you can use in bear hunt to call the rally. If you still got any question, you can ask in the comment. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and bye bye.